So I'm gonna put together a video here for the air-fuel ratio install. It's something that's for the most part something that's super simple. What we got here is it's an Innovate Motorsports. God, I hope that is something you guys can read. It looks like it's backwards to me, but it is LC2 wideband. Okay, now it's very simple. The red wire on the wideband goes to the red wire on the module that comes with it, and they get tied together, and then you need to go to key power. The black wire also goes to the black wire on the module and needs to go to ground. Obviously with ground you want to go to the closest place that you can ground it out. The yellow wire from the gauge goes to a headlight power. That is what turns the light on and dims it and whatever else. Okay, now the wideband gauge itself, it's white wire. It needs to be connected to the yellow wire of the module. They just get connected to each other and that's it. They don't go anywhere else. Okay, now what we have here, this is everything pretty much together. Okay, now I was a little stupid about this. Okay, you can see I got this big lump here. Okay, these are my connectors and my heat sink, or heat wrap. Okay, when you cut wires in order to put connectors on it or whatever, offset the wire length so the connectors are all in different places, so when you tape them up, they tape up real thin instead of all crappy like this. Okay, this is the module here. Okay, so the module is right here. Okay, it gets connected to, sorry, I've got my phone freaking backwards. Okay, so it gets connected to the wideband. Okay, so for those of you who probably can or can't see, you get in your truck, you take a look up here, there is a rubber grommet that has the steering wheel. Okay, so I actually cut a hole in that rubber grommet and a hole on the other rubber grommet, and I ran the line through here. The line goes down and it goes over part of the transmission, under the transmission, and connects to where I have the wideband. So I will show that here coming up in another part of that video. As we go step by step. First, I'm going to get all the wiring where it needs to go, and then once the wiring is where it needs to go, I'm going to do the calibration, which I will show in the video as well. And then once it's calibrated, then I will tighten everything down and cover everything up and basically hide it, so that way it's, you know, it has that clean factory look to it. So underneath the truck here, okay, don't pay attention to the dirty ass TIG weld here. I went outside at work to weld it, and go figure, being in Texas, it got windy. So whatever, it is what it is. It's still a solid weld. There's no pinholes or nothing. So the wideband should be 24 inches from the turbo, which it is 24 inches. Okay, and it cannot be dead set on the bottom. Now, I didn't want to take the pipe off the truck, because the proper way to do this would have been to take the pipe off the truck and put it up here somewhere. Okay, but you can do it between, technically they say between 3 and 9, which is here and here. So this is real close to 3 and 9. It's just so when condensate runs down, it doesn't wreck the sensor. So it is recommended that you put it on the top. So when we do the 4-inch down pipe, we'll put a bung on the top and put it up there. Okay, so it comes out, we go over this around the transmission, we go over here, we just put a zip tie up here, and then it runs up, connects, and then it goes through a connector on the firewall. Okay, so from there, you know, that's will be the rest of the video, showing kind of where the wiring goes and things like that. You need to leave this out to calibrate it. So we have it, I shot the video backwards, so the sensor's already calibrated for me, but you have to leave this out in order to do the calibration. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise it's gonna be a pain in the ass having to take it in and out. All right, now that my Coke is watered down, let's take a look here. So we have this panel off. Hold on. We have this panel off and this panel off. Okay, now what we have here is we have the LC2 module, okay, which is right here. Okay, we have an output. The output that comes with it is this serial, which goes to a old school computer. That's going to get hung up underneath the dash, and we'll buy the right connector for that, so we can plug in and we can actually log and actually make real histograms based on the engine, which makes editing and logging really easy for those of you who are familiar with like HP tuners and things like that. Now what we're doing is we're putting this right here, okay? Everything else is going to be, everything's tucked up, all the wires are tucked up in here. Once that's tucked up in here, the gauge is right there, okay? So now we have this wire taped together, okay? Everything's taped up. Here's the ground. The ground, we're gonna choose to ground it right here to that ground, okay? Now the wire is super long, and it's obviously probably it's probably honestly way too long, but the reason for that is so I should start with this. So we completely tape this because we want, after it goes through the firewall and when it goes up the wall, we don't want to have to find the wire and protect it by any means. So we put tape on it, so it'll go through. It's made extra long. It is going to go up to the fuse box. So it is also going to go through that rubber grommet around the steering. It's going to go up over to the fuse box, and then we'll cut it to length and we'll put the wires in their appropriate location. For now, we're going to make changes later for a better power setup, better for the power. With that being said, if anybody here does electrical and would like to be featured on the YouTube channel, finalizing the wiring and showing the right way to add it into the fuse box, I would love to get with someone on that and get that taken care of as well. We definitely are super interested in, you know, adding people onto our channel that know what they're doing and showing how to do other things as well. And definitely, you know, we'll pay someone for their time to help on our build. So I'm going to add this onto the video. I'm going to show the next step here once I get it done. Okay, so I moved stuff around a little bit. You can see that there's just some wires here, and this is hanging out from underneath the dash here. Ignore this. This is for my banks. That'll have to get moved eventually. And Banks, by the way, does make a 12-volt plug-in, so you can run it up to a fuse box instead of running an OBD2. So I'm gonna have someone do that as well. But so here's the module, whatever you want to call it. Here's the cord. It's plugged into the oxygen sensor. The oxygen sensor is not in the exhaust stream, okay? And then this is right here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to calibrate the sensor, okay? So this is our wiring, our thing right here. Okay, sensor calibration, blah, 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 have it in the right location. We went over that earlier in this. With the sensor disconnected, apply power to LC2. When power is applied, the status light will light up green for 2 seconds while the controller initializes. Status light will then turn red and flash a 2-blink sequence indicating an error condition. The error state indicates that no sensor is detected, leaving it powered on for a minimum of 30 seconds while it's flashing the error 2. Okay, so it was an awful time to do this because I have to piss really bad. So I'm not really seeing this this flashing that it's talking about. Shut off. Okay, let's see what this is. Okay, so power down LC2, attach oxygen sensor. Attach oxygen sensor to LC2. When making these connections, make sure they're fully seated and locked. Power up the LC2. So let's see what this does, okay? There was definitely not a green status light like it said there was going to. Doing this one-handed sucks, obviously. Unless there's a light on that box, but I don't think there's a light on that box either. Let's take a look here. Oh, all right, there's a light right there. I'm an idiot. Okay, let's Go back to run. And it looks like it worked. I saw something move for a second, but the air filter issues were off. After 30 seconds, status light will flash green for a series of very quick flashes indicating the sensor calibrated is being performed. Lastly, the light will light up solid green, indicating that the unit is operational and ready to take read O2 sensor contents and exhaust. So we're watching that green light. Turn my volume off here. We're gonna watch this green light until the green light turns solid. Sorry it's getting blurry, it's from the flash. Oh, I'm an idiot. So I'm using the fuel pump power. Oh, so it shows green. And now it's blinking. I don't think I'm going to get enough to do the calibration, so we'll see. Because I'm actually I'm using the fuel pump for power, so obviously that's not going to work here if this is the case. So we'll see what this does here. Oh yeah, there it went. It's working. 22.1. It just shut off. Okay, so we'll turn it back off. Okay, we'll turn it back on. Well, it's showing 7.4, and that's it's going to be it warming up or whatever. Okay, so we'll just shut it back off. Lastly, light will light up solid green, indicating unit is operation ready to take read of oxygen sensor exhaust. You may disconnect sensor from sensor cable in order to thread the exhaust. Do this without losing calibration. Make sure the unit remains powered off while the sensor is disconnected. If you power up the LC2 without a sensor connected, the calibration will be lost. Okay, so I'm going to do that, get underneath the truck there and take care of putting the oxygen sensor in quick, and then we will start the truck up and see if it works. All right, so sensor calibration, okay, oxygen sensor unplugged. You got to let this flash this red light for at least 30 seconds, okay? After 30 seconds, you pull power, plug this back in, and do it again. Okay, so give it a few seconds here. We'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, I really hate having to calibrate this crap, but you know, I guess it's a must. So pull power. Okay, come back, plug the oxygen sensor in. Now make sure the oxygen sensor is not in the exhaust stream, otherwise it's not going to calibrate very well. Okay, we'll come back and we'll put the power on. And by the way, this is hooked up like this right now because I have it hooked up to my fast fuel pump, and the fuel pump doesn't run long enough to do the calibration without running the truck. Okay, so see how it's flashing green? It's flashing green because the oxygen sensor is plugged in. Okay, the next step, when it's done, it'll go solid, and when it's solid, it means that the oxygen sensor is calibrated, which means at that point you can plug in the exhaust, start the vehicle, and it'll run. Okay, so while that's flashing, we'll watch both of them at the same time and see what happens. Okay. Okay, see it says 22.1. The green is solid. According to this, after 36 seconds, the status light will flash green for a series of very quick flashes indicating the sensor calibration is being performed. Lastly, the light will light up solid green, indicating that the unit is operational and ready to take read O2 contents in the exhaust gas. You may disconnect the sensor from the sensor cable in order to thread the sensor into the exhaust. Do this without losing your calibration. Make sure the unit remains powered off while the sensor is disconnected. If you power up the LC2 without the sensor connected, your calibration will be lost and require the calibration to be repeated. Okay, now there should be a troubleshooting section in the back here, okay, which tells you the errors, which right now we don't have any errors right now. So we will pull power again, okay, and once power is pulled, we're going to do this, remove the power, okay, and I'm going to put it back where I had it for now. Now this is, we're going to be doing a I'm gonna have somebody come kind of fix this power stuff here. I don't, you know, obviously this is a little on the ghetto side here, and obviously I don't want stuff to be ghetto, so I'm gonna try and obviously have someone here to to come rewire some of this stuff. I want this stuff wired into the spares and the fuse box, so we'll see. So right, for this is a simple thing that we're just going to do for now. And I know it's ghetto, but it is what it is. And then plug the oxygen sensor in, and we'll start the truck next and show what it does. All right, bear with me and we will see if this works. I'm gonna set the phone down here because I can't push the brake and hit the... Okay, so let's see. So it's gonna heat up, okay? So it does this flashing crap, and then when it goes solid, it should read. Now, if it just sits and says 222.1 or 7.5, it means that something isn't wired properly, which all there is a power and a ground. So if it's not wiring properly, you know, I don't know what to say. It is besides that, and I'll probably have to call the company and add to this video what the fix is. So see, right now it says 22.1. I mean, I guess there's a possibility that it's maxed it out. Let's see. Oh yeah. So that is good, because that means that the truck is running lean enough that this sensor is maxed out. So what sucks is that we can't read any leaner than 22.1, which, whatever, it means that we're lean, so that's good. It means we're not putting up soot at idle. So I'm gonna finish getting this stuff tied up here, which is nothing, it's not a big deal, you know. It's you can see where it comes in up there. It's just a matter of getting these zip tied up, putting them in a nice place and getting them out of the way. And then there, I'm gonna drive the truck and kind of see how it does. Okay, so we're driving. We're still at 22.1, which means we are absolutely maxing this gauge out on the lean, which, like I said, is definitely good. I'm trying to get the video to be a little bit more quality here. We're gonna kind of get on it here and see how rich exactly it goes. And like I said, we're gonna try to pull fuel in certain areas to clean it up, or add a little bit if we need to down low. You know, if this is the case, if like going down the highway it says that I'm running at right around here, you know, that explains why our fuel mileage is the way that it is. And you know, that might make me want to put other companies' tunes on it and test it and see, like, hey, like, are they running that much richer than we are? Is that why, you know, their fuel economy is crap? Sorry, this freaking stoplight, man. What the hell? Might as well just go freaking right or something, I guess. I was trying to, whatever. There's no point in going into town. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of get on it a little bit here. I don't know if there's any cops nearby, so I'll just... Okay, so I know it jumped around, but if you can see, we went to 11-1 real fast. So I'm gonna get out of town here, and I'm gonna punch it from a dead stop, and you'll be able to see it load up and see what it hits. And I'll keep my foot on the floor, and we'll be able to see what happens. So what happens is you use all this extra fuel to light the turbo, and then you start leaning it out. And as you lean it out, you'll still make power, but it'll be clean, a lot cleaner, a lot less emissions, better fuel mileage, things like that. As you go up, and it'll help reduce EGTs. So we'll see. I mean, the EGT thing's kind of a big deal. I might not be able to come to a dead stop. This road's pretty busy, but I might be at least able to get on it here. See, I mean, we're only doing like 40, and the air fuel ratio is still over 22.1, which, like I said, that's definitely good. Though then again, it said 22.1 after calibration, and it should have said 20. I don't think we would have more air here, so I might take it out and recalibrate it again. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna gas her here. See how it's staying at 11? Okay, that means we got to cut back on the fuel. because we want it to cut back from 11 after it lights up and starts spooling. We want it to cut back to at least 16 to 18 to 1, if anything. Oh, there's a sheriff right there. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna double check to make sure that the gauge is properly adjusted. And if it is off a little bit, that means we're running even richer. So that's exactly the next step. Is tonight I'm going to work on the file a little bit, and we're gonna pull some more fuel out and see where we can go with it. So I'm gonna gas it again here. So I'm going up a hill. See, there's no reason to continue to do that. Now, obviously, the guys that want their stuff to be smoky, you know, we can go with that. We definitely can go with that. I think there's a highway here, 27 South. Let's take this highway. We'll take this highway north here, and maybe we'll be able to watch the EGTs, what the EGTs do, and I can kind of explain like the effect it has on the EGTs, and you know what the change we're going to do is going to make. So watch the EGTs as we're getting on it. So the EGTs are climbing. I'm doing 85 miles an hour, and we never broke 1400. But you know, obviously we'd like to be lower. You put a trailer on, we're going to break into that 1600 mark when you're trying to pass someone or we're getting on it or whatever else. So like I said, we're going to make a couple changes tonight. We're going to clean that up some more, and it's going to help everyone out. You know, we're going to have a file that's going to make amazing power down low where it needs to be, but then what it's going to do is up top, it's going to be a lot cleaner, a lot safer for the engine, and things like that. So I'm going to end this video right here. Hopefully I'll post it tonight and everyone can kind of take a look at it and see what they think.